I didn't notice when it started. The dreams, I mean. They were always just foggy nonsense at first. Blurry rooms, distant voices, flickering lights. I'd wake up disoriented, sometimes unable to move, heart pounding in my ears. I thought it was just stress from school. That, or too much caffeine. My name's Imani. I'm 22, studying media theory at Southwood University. I live in a small dorm with my best friend Kaya, who I envy for being able to sleep like a rock. Meanwhile, I'd been dealing with sleep paralysis since freshman year. Nothing new, nothing serious. Just terrifying. At least, that's what I thought. That week, though, something changed. People started acting weird around me, not in a "you smell bad" way, but in that slow blinking, polite smiling, clearly knows something you don't kind of way. It started with Marcus. He's in my film studies seminar. I was walking out of class when he tapped my shoulder. "Hey, Imani," he said. Weird question. "Are you, like, filming your dreams or something?" I stared at him. "What?" "You know, that channel, with the sleep stuff? Everyone's been watching it." I frowned. "I don't have a channel." He laughed, but it came out wrong, like he wasn't sure if I was joking or not. "Okay, sure. Secret's safe with me." Kaya brought it up that night too. We were sitting in the common room. I was trying to write a paper, and she was scrolling through her phone. "People are really into your freaky dream videos," she said casually. I looked up. "What videos?" She raised her eyebrows. "You're not serious. The ones where you're sleep-talking about the girl made of static and that black hallway. It's totally viral. Some dude said it's like performance art. But creepy." I dropped my pen. "Kaya, I haven't recorded anything." "You sure?" she asked. "Because the voice in those videos sounds exactly like you." We searched for the videos together, but couldn't find them. Not on YouTube, not on TikTok, nowhere. Kaya swore she'd seen them just the day before. She even tried pulling them up from her browser history, but the links were broken. I felt sick. I knew I wasn't sleepwalking. I had a camera in our room once for a class project. Nothing strange ever showed up. But something didn't feel right. That night, I woke up around 3 a.m., unable to move. My chest felt like something heavy was sitting on it. My eyes were open, but I couldn't speak, couldn't scream. All I could do was stare at the corner of the room. Something stood there. Not a person, not a shadow. It looked like static, like a human-shaped glitch in the air. And though it didn't move, I could feel it watching me. When I finally broke free, I shot upright and gasped. My sheets were damp with sweat. Kaya was snoring softly on her bed across the room. Everything was normal. But in that silence, my phone buzzed. One new email. No sender. No subject. Just a link. I clicked it. Error 404. Somewhere deep in my gut, something twisted. This wasn't just a dream anymore. The 404 error stuck in my mind like a splinter. No sender, no subject, just a broken link, delivered at the exact moment I woke up from one of the worst sleep paralysis episodes I'd had in months. Coincidence? Maybe. But my gut said otherwise. The next day, I skipped my morning classes. I couldn't focus on anything else. I dug through my inbox, search history, even tried recovering deleted browser data. Nothing. Like the message had never been there. Kaya was out, so I pulled the curtains and sat in the dark, hunched over my laptop. I didn't know what I was looking for, but I couldn't stop. I tried every search I could think of. Sleep dream livestream, dream video girl static, even my own name. Eventually, I ended up on a web archive, and that's where I found it. r/dreamwatcher99. It wasn't live. The page had been archived 3 days ago, but what I saw made my blood run cold. The subreddit's banner showed a grainy black and white still of me in bed, eyes open, mouth slightly agape. It wasn't a photo I'd ever seen before. I knew that blanket, that wall, that was my room. Pinned to the top was a thread titled, Imani's Stream, September 17th, The Room with Teeth. The comments were like something out of a nightmare. She made it to the red hallway again. The hum's stronger now. Anyone else notice the thing behind her mouth when she talks? She's resisting the door. Smart. But it's almost time. New watchers tonight. Welcome. Keep your volume down. She screams harder after 3:30. There were timestamps that lined up almost perfectly with when I remembered waking up panicked or paralyzed. I scrolled, horrified. Post after post. Discussion threads with my name in the title. Speculation about my dreams, what certain symbols meant. Polls about when I'd finally open the door. Some users talked like they were watching it for entertainment. Others, not so much. One thread just read, "She doesn't know yet. But the static girl is closer now. We think tonight's the night." I had to stop. My hands were shaking. Before I could back out, a message popped up in the sidebar. It wasn't from Reddit. It looked like a system prompt. Do not open the door. Do not look into her eyes. Do not trust the watchers. Then it was gone. I closed everything, slammed the laptop shut. My ears were ringing. My skin crawled. I paced my room, checked every corner, even under the bed like a child. That night, I did everything I could to stay awake. Coffee, cold showers, blasting music into my headphones. But eventually, sleep always wins. And when it did, I was standing in a hallway that pulsed like it was alive, and something was watching from the end. The hallway in my dream didn't have walls, not in the normal sense. They breathed like lungs under thin red skin. The floor was sticky, and from far down the corridor, something flickered. Not a light, more like a distortion, the way bad reception used to look on old TVs. I turned to run. I couldn't. My feet weren't stuck, but the air itself had weight. It pushed back. The humming grew louder, a low buzzing drone that made my teeth vibrate. That's when she appeared. The girl in the static. She didn't walk. She twitched toward me in bursts, like a corrupted file skipping frames. Her body kept changing, sometimes tall, sometimes childlike, sometimes both in the same second. Her face was just static, a human outline filled with snow. "You're not supposed to see me yet," she said. Her voice sounded like a dozen people whispering through a detuned radio. I tried to speak, but my mouth was full of cotton. She came closer. I couldn't move. "You're not awake." "Not really, but they are." Suddenly, I was back in my bed, but not alone. Something stood beside me. I couldn't see it, but I could feel it. Leaning close, breathing. And then I really woke up. Gasping, cold sweat pouring off me. My sheets were twisted like I'd been fighting them. Kaya was gone, probably at class. I reached for my phone, my heart still pounding. 3 new messages. "Kaya, you okay? Someone posted a clip of your dream again. It's blowing up. Marcus, this can't be real. Did you see what the subreddit posted last night? Unknown number. She's almost here. Do not answer the knock." I dropped my phone. I checked my laptop. Reddit was down. My Wi-Fi was fine, but any attempt to access that subreddit gave me a black screen. Then the knock came. 3 soft raps on the dorm door. I didn't move. I just stared at it. Another knock. "Imani?" Kaya's voice. "You in there?" But something in her tone felt wrong. Too flat. Like someone reading her voice off a page. I stood, moved slowly to the door. "Say something only you would know," I said. Pause, then, "You always hum when you write essays. You think you don't, but you do." I froze. That was true. I opened the door. Kaya blinked at me, startled. "Geez, finally, What's going on with you? I didn't answer. I just stared at her. She looked real, normal, but something still felt off. You're shaking, she said, stepping inside. I think you need to see this. She opened her phone, pulled up a video. It was me, in bed, from last night's dream. The static girl approached me frame by frame, and right before I woke up, she leaned down and whispered something into my ear. The video had no sound, but the caption read, 3:33 a.m., she marked her, and the top comment was, it's almost time. I didn't go to class, didn't answer calls. I shut everything down, my laptop, my phone, even the smart plug for our overhead light. It didn't matter. The sense of being watched was no longer a feeling. It was a fact. I pulled out a roll of duct tape and covered every lens in the room. Laptop webcam, phone camera, even the tiny one in the corner smoke detector. I unplugged the router. I deleted every social account I had. Instagram, Reddit, Discord. Gone. Kaya watched me from her bed, concerned but not surprised. You're spiraling, she said, and I'm saying that as someone who once shaved her eyebrows after a breakup. I saw her, I whispered, not just in a dream. She was here, in the room. Kaya sat up. You're not sleeping, Imani. You've had, what, maybe 3 hours total in the last 2 days? I didn't answer. Instead, I opened my notes app and began typing out everything I remembered. The dreams, the subreddit, the knock, the static girl. I needed some record, something that made it feel real, because it was real. That's when I noticed something new. In the metadata of my phone's video folder, some files I didn't recognize. They weren't visible in my gallery, just lines of gibberish file names. One caught my eye. Imani Dream, 3:33 a.m., hidden stream. I tried opening it. No luck. I downloaded a hex viewer and scanned the file. Right in the middle of the code, repeated over and over, she will open. And one line buried near the end, Imani.txt:, assigned comma stream priority : front page. Front page of what? That night, I went to the campus tech lab. It was empty, the kind of sterile place that felt safe because it was too boring to haunt. I accessed a VPN, dug deep into mirrors and archived scripts. Most of the pages were dead ends. But then, at 2:11 a.m., a window popped open. Black screen, one line of white text. At 3:33 a.m., the door will appear again. This time, she has to choose. No buttons, no cursor, just the message. Then it closed itself. The lab lights flickered, once, then twice. I ran back to the dorm. Kaya was asleep. I curled up in my bed, wide awake, heart pounding. I lasted until 3:27, and then I blinked, and the door was there. It wasn't a normal door. It was floating slightly above the ground, made of metal that looked wet. There was no knob, just a pulsing outline where one should be. I could hear whispering behind it, familiar voices, my mom, my brother, Kaya, then her voice, the static girl. It's time, she said, and I reached for it. The moment my fingers touched the metal, a cold surged through me like static crawling under my skin. I didn't twist a knob, there wasn't one, but the door reacted. It dissolved into mist, and the mist pulled me in. I didn't fall. I shifted, like reality rotated 90 degrees and forgot to bring gravity with it. On the other side, there was no floor, no sky, just a space, a vast chamber of floating television screens. They blinked in and out, showing thousands of images, all grainy, flickering, distorted by VHS noise. Faces, rooms, streets, bedrooms, people sleeping, and all of them were labeled with usernames. I saw mine, imani.live/priority feed. Below it, viewers, 18,942. I wanted to scream, but no sound came. My body felt muted, like I was dreaming through glass. I reached toward the screen showing me asleep in my dorm bed, Kaya across the room. Then I saw something else. Something that shouldn't have been there. A shape standing in the corner just behind my desk, watching. A whisper filled the void. "You opened it. That means we can speak now." The static girl materialized beside me. Her form was clearer now, almost solid. Her hair moved like tangled wires. Her eyes flickered with unreadable code. "You were chosen because you're aware," she said. "That's rare. They don't usually remember." "Who are you?" I croaked. She looked at me, or through me. "I was the first." I stared at her. "The first dreamer?" She nodded. "The first to open the door. I let them through. I thought they wanted to help, but they only want to watch. They never stop watching." The screens around us began to flicker faster. I saw other dreamers, people thrashing in their beds, screaming in silent agony. "They mark you," she said, "and once they mark you, your sleep belongs to them." I shook my head. "I don't want this. I didn't ask for any of this." Her form glitched. "That doesn't matter. You're content now. The audience decides when it ends." One screen zoomed in. It showed Kaya. She was sitting at my desk reading my notes. Behind her, the shadow moved. "Stop," I screamed. "Leave her alone." The static girl didn't move. "Then you'll need to offer them something better. Something they haven't seen." She placed her hand on my chest. Cold surged through me again. "You've seen the inside now. You're not just a dreamer. You're a conduit, a portal. If you fall asleep again, they'll pour through you." I tried to back away, but the mist gripped me. "Then what do I do?" She stared into me. "Stay awake, or make a different choice." "What choice?" She didn't answer. I woke up on the floor. My head throbbed. My nose was bleeding. On my phone, a new message flashed across the lock screen. "Unknown. Next stream begins tonight. Prime slot. Don't disappoint us." And Kaya was gone. I tore the room apart looking for Kaya. Her backpack was still here. Her keys were on the hook, but her phone was missing, and so was she. I called out her name until my throat went raw. I even checked under the bed. Nothing. She couldn't have just left. Not without telling me. Not without a trace. Unless they had taken her. The thought chilled me. Not just because it felt insane, but because it made sense. I opened my laptop again. Against every instinct screaming inside me, I reconnected to the internet. And there it was. A mirror site for the subreddit. Dreamwatcher99.onion. Live and active. My name was at the top of the page. Tonight, stream number 144. The Conduit returns. Viewers, 24,802. The comments were worse than ever. "We saw her take Kaya. New threshold unlocked. This one's fighting back. Excellent. Hope she opens the basement room tonight. No one's seen that since subject number 7. They were treating me like a reality show character. An ARG. A walking narrative to dissect and devour. My dream was no longer a dream. It was scheduled programming. I dug deeper into the back end of the site. My media theory training finally came in handy. I found an embedded tracker. It wasn't pulling from my phone. It was pinging my IP directly. They didn't need my camera. They had something else. That night, I set up my old DSLR analog gear, no network. I pointed it at my bed, just to see. I forced myself to stay awake, watching reruns of cooking shows until my vision blurred. Around 3:20 a.m., I finally passed out. The footage was still recording when I woke up. My first instinct was to check the video. At first, nothing, just me, tossing and turning. Then, at 3:33 a.m., a shape appeared. Not the static girl, something taller, gaunt. It stepped into frame from the far left, where the window was. Its limbs were too long. Its head twitched side to side. It leaned over my sleeping body, and then it turned, facing the camera directly, as if it knew. The frame glitched, just for a second. But in that second, a message appeared. "Wake up." I slammed the laptop shut. I didn't remember the dream this time, but I felt drained, like something had siphoned a part of me out. On the floor where the figure had stood, I found a smear. Not blood, not dirt. Static. A black and white fuzz like melted tape, burnt into the wood. And a paper, folded neatly. On it, a list of names. Dozens. Hundreds. At the top, conduits. And next to mine, active. I didn't leave my dorm that day. I couldn't. The world outside had become warped. Faces blurred as they passed my window, like their features couldn't hold shape. Even sound seemed filtered, muffled, as if I was already underwater. The list of names lay on the floor beside me. Imani, active. The others, some marked dormant, some terminated. One was circled in red. Kaya B, archived. Archived. I didn't cry. I couldn't afford to. I had one chance left. One night. One stream. I was going to end it, even if it meant going all the way in. I made my preparations, shut off every device, locked the doors, laid down in the dark, with nothing but the camera rolling. I let the sleep come. This time, the dream didn't start with a hallway. It started in a theater. Giant, ancient, with velvet seats that stretched into infinity, and every one of them filled, with watchers, faceless, silent, staring at the stage. On the stage, me. I didn't control my body. I stood, expressionless, wearing a white hospital gown. Lights flickered, a humming started. And then, the static girl stepped out from the wings. "I told you," she said, her voice echoing through the auditorium. "They choose when it ends." "Then let me choose," I said. My voice shook. "I want to speak to them." The theater went silent. The watchers leaned forward. "You don't understand," she said. "They don't speak. They observe. That's all they've ever done." I turned to the audience. "If you're watching this," I said, louder now, "you're part of it. You're part of what's killing people like me. You feed on fear, on pain. Well, watch this." I reached into my own chest. It hurt. I pulled out the mark, a pulsing black thing, shaped like an eye, but squirming like a parasite. The watchers hissed, their faces twisted in digital static. I crushed it. The world blinked. The theater collapsed in on itself. The stage vanished. The audience screamed, flickering into data, lines of code unraveling. The static girl tried to reach me, but she was fading too. "They'll find another," she cried. "You've only paused the stream." "I know," I said, "but not through me." Everything went white. I woke up in the hospital, IV in my arm. A nurse nearby jumped when she saw my eyes open. "You're awake," she said. "We didn't think you'd—" "What day is it?" I croaked. "Tuesday. You've been out for almost 4 days." Kaya was never found. No one remembered her. Her bed had someone else's name on it now. Her books were gone. Even old photos had changed, like she'd been erased from reality. But the stream stopped. I checked. The subreddit was gone. The mirror site dead. My name scrubbed from everything. For now. And yet, sometimes, at 3:33 a.m., I still wake up. And I feel them. Waiting. I don't know how long the silence will last. But if you start dreaming of doors with no handles, don't open them. Because the watchers are always searching. And they're always hungry.